Thank you, AfshJim. It's very nice to be here and join you today. Thank you for having KIRN as part of your distinguished group. AfshJim said to me today, dress up, look good, this is an important group in town. So I wore a special tie, I had to go home and get changed, so I was late. But I gotta tell you, when I met AfshJim, as you all know, he's been back in the station for just a few months and made wonderful changes. I had an immediate connection with him, although we had met many years ago when he was at the station, because both of us come from families of broadcasters. My father, quite legendary in the radio industry, and of course I don't have to say much about AfshJim, his father, iconic in this community. I'm having a great deal of fun. I'm learning more. I've been in radio my whole life. I've been at KIRN for 4 months. It's been a wonderful learning experience for me. It's been a blast. It's an amazing group of people. A lot of my time has been spent in Spanish and English radio. We spend a lot of money on researching what the community wants. We try to figure out what's important, and we hire researchers. At KIRN, we don't have to hire researchers. Everyone calls and tells us what they think. And it's saving a lot of money, but it's very interesting. It's terrific to be involved, and here we have a group of entrepreneurs. It's an unbelievable experience for me personally to be involved in a community that gives back so much to Los Angeles. Brilliance, kindness, passion, intellect. We as a country are the beneficiaries of the horrible things that have happened in your homeland. We have benefited from the tragedies that you have all lived, and that is why my father, back 13 years ago, thought we have to change one of our Spanish stations to do something for this community, which he did in 1962 when there was no Spanish radio. But I can only tell you, for us it's very special. For my dad, my kids, my father's other kids, my brothers and sisters, to be able to go around. And we're having a lot of fun. It's a very happy radio station. It's a group of people. You know, you hear a lot of people say, wow, you're a very commercial radio station. And I say, yeah, but very few people know how many commercials we turn away, things that shouldn't be on the radio. And so we have a group of people today who are committed to caring and doing the right thing for this community, and I'm very joyed to be a part of it. Last comment, I don't want to take a lot of time, but you know, today in radio, in the United States, in any city, quite frankly, there are very few people that actually own radio stations. Unfortunately, most of the major media is owned by big corporations and stockholders. And so there are very few human beings actually walking the street that own radio stations. And I'm extraordinarily grateful, really, to my father, who decided he'd rather be a community broadcaster than sell to big companies for what could have been millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. But he always said, I'd rather be somebody in a community helping than just be another rich guy who sold his company. Saying that, I'm the primary beneficiary because I get to be here every day working with everyone. And since it's kind of rare that you've got folks in the city running and owning a radio station, I just want to be open. If anybody has any questions that they're curious about from KIRN, about our thinking, what's on our mind, before I leave the podium here, if there are any questions anybody would like to ask, certainly open to that. But more than anything, thank you and appreciate that. One thing I don't know if I said about the Persian community, they're incredibly brilliant entrepreneurs also. So the fact that you're here and having an organization around you is terrific. But that's all I have to say. I say thank you, and if anybody has any questions, I'm completely open to that. Yes, sir.
You are much more than a radio. I've always said you're like a college. You're a good school. The effect that Radio Iran has had on the Iranian community is unmatchable with anything.
Thank you.
I've carefully followed it, and I congratulate you. and I thank the Anjuman for having you here.
Oh, that was a very, very kind words. And that is true, because that's what's beautiful about being the one major media. Like in Spanish, I love our Spanish station, but there's 15 others. Everybody's got their little niche. Here we have to be the educator, the entertainer, the news source, the honest news source. And so I appreciate that. And I saw a hand back there, yes.
I just wanted to let you know you're not just in LA, you're global. I have people from Iran and from Australia telling me that they listen to your radio. So you're doing the whole project community, the whole service.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be speaking just about Los Angeles. That's true. And sometimes I hope the messages of our station can help change communities for the better in places where they don't have the kind of freedoms that we have here. So I should never overlook that. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Are you learning Farsi?
Merci. Very good question. Je parle un petit peu de français. Yo hablo bien español. My English is okay. I've learned a couple of words. I'd like to learn more. The word I cherish the most, because firstly, the names have been a challenge. So I found a universal word that helps me with all of your names when I can't remember, and that's Dustam. 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 Hey, Dustam. 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 So that's a word. Everybody's trying to get at me at the radio station. So Hazari, are you ready? You know, let's go. Hazari. I like to be able to greet people and say, hey, salam alaikum Moshe today. And when I leave, I want to say Ube Merse. But not much more, but I want to learn more. Yes, please.
Thank you for bringing AfshJim Kalmenson back to the radio. He's the most qualified person for this radio. We thank you.
You are so welcome, and thank you. I really appreciate that, and we feel the benefit of his presence every day, and he's a lovely guy, and while he's sweet as hell and very brilliant broadcaster, it's not always easy working with him, let me tell you. Why? Why is it difficult? Because I'm always wanting to sell things, and he's always wanting to protect the listeners and make sure, so we have a great balance. Truthfully, we have a lovely time, and I really appreciate that, and we feel his impact every day, and his not just his programming mentality, but his warmth inside the company means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
Here,
Yeah.
here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I know you worth it, but I think a little bit you are expensive, because we have a business here for a long time,
Yes.
but we want to be part of advertising, but it's a little bit too much for me. I have a travel agency.
Yes.
But I think if you do it like long term for the people, they stay with you and make it a bit lower prices so everybody can afford to have advertising.
Have you been talking to Seema and Tamila? Because they keep telling me the same thing. You know what?
I know actually when he was little.
You
So,
did?
Yeah.
He's a big boy now. Okay, I take that advice, and you know, it's interesting because we've had conversations about that subject, and I have kind of said to everybody, I get your message, because they've been telling me that, because I think you have a valid point. And we have discussed some plans. If you would give me your card tonight, I want you to be the first person to hear about, which I don't have it right now. Because of this conversation, we'll go back and come up with one.
Sure.
Okay, but when we do, I'd like to bring it to you and share it, and you can tell me if you think it's reasonable.
Okay.
But we'll try to bring something more for smaller business. I get it, it's hard, because it is expensive sometimes. Yeah, and we'll do that. We had a couple of ideas that we had talked about, but we haven't quite brought them out yet. Yeah, but we're ready. We're getting there, and I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
I was always wondering, do you have any limitation or restrictions on the amount of or how much advertising you can broadcast every day? If you had people that they wanted to pay for your time, are you willing to sell all 24 hours? Or
That's a big question. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to laugh at this, and I am not kidding you. Right now, if I told that group of sellers over there, go sell it, we would sell all 24 hours.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
do you have any restrictions or no?
We don't, we are not regulated by the FCC or by the SEC or any government organization. We are governed based on essentially what we think the right balance is at the station. I actually think that when I took over the job, we had gone too far over on that balance. I actually came in believing that we had over-commercialized it a little, and we, in the last few months with AfshJim's work, and actually Susie Katami also, we actually, interestingly, we cut way back. We intentionally brought it to a lesser number, and especially on the weekends, where we even haven't finished introducing shows. But I know we have a new show this week. We're starting with a great singer, Dariush, is that correct?
17th.
On the 17th, we'll be doing a very lovely show, but a show to help the community. He'll be there every week. That used to be a time that we sold commercials and sold a half hour or an hour to companies. We're not doing that anymore. So the answer to your question, I know I'm giving you kind of a roundabout answer. We're not regulated.
But do you have any ratio internally?
Yes, internally we do. It's changed. Actually, in the last 3 months, it's come way back. We've actually reduced. I don't know the number.
50,
Oh, do I know the ratio? No, mathematically, I don't know what it is. But generally speaking, we run 16 minutes of commercials in an hour, and then and that's pretty constant. And then in certain hours, we will let people come in and share their professional views on their businesses. That's an area that we've brought much less because we think it's very valuable and very important, but we wanted to bring in, certain new shows. I don't know if you've heard the new one, The Lounge is a very beautiful show, is a new show, the show from 10 to noon, which listen a little, and how do you say it?
گفتنی‌ها و شنیدنی‌ها.
But I don't know the ratio. I guess I could figure it out. I've never done that. Yeah, but we have to be careful to have a nice balance between making money and giving good programming. That's what we try to do. So, yes, sir.
I would like to say as an individual listener, congratulate you for choosing back Mr. Working, Mr. Mendes, management. He turned around the whole program perfectly fine and did a great job professionally.
Right, that's great. Thank you. I completely agree with you. And if I can learn a few more words, I might appreciate more of it. But I get a lot of the warmth in my heart from the feelings and the feedback that you offer today. So, yeah, really, thank you so much. Okay, appreciate it.